Hey everyone, first, sorry for the unprofessional look, but it is hot as balls here today, so that would explain the tank top and the darkness, because I have all of the shades and blinds closed to try keep out as much light as humanly possible. Alright, so today I am going to be demonstrating one of my favorite things about RevOps, which is combining marketing, sales, technology, efficiency, and process, all in one simple, very simple solution. And on the surface, for those not in the RevOps world, it might sound like it's complicated, but you will see that it is actually very simple. So the problem that we are going to solve here today is that I have a client who is a yoga teacher that has an online platform, and she sells subscriptions to her website. Basically, she has a video library of close to 300 yoga, meditation, and somatic movement videos, and she also needs to do email marketing. But she's just one person, so between filming classes, teaching in person, doing all of the other things that is required of running a business, and also having a personal life, she just doesn't have time to do proper email marketing. So we came up with a solution that, well, we can repurpose these 300 classes, and we can do it automatically so that she doesn't have to write a single thing. As you will see, it is just a single one-line, very straightforward Zap. With 12 different steps, but there's a little bit of thinking that goes into it, not too much. The first thing is that we wanted to export a list of all of her yoga classes that are on her website. So using the WordPress plugins and CSV and Google Sheets, we just exported it. I did a little bit of formatting here, and you'll see, so we have the URL, the title, the text that is in each of those custom posts, and the featured image URL, last modified, and then here's kind of the secret, is this times emailed column. So you'll see that we've only been running this for a very short amount of time, so we've only done it for 3 weeks and three emails. There's another Zap setup that says, well, anytime she adds a new class to her library, it's going to come in here and it's going to add it to the end of this spreadsheet. So this spreadsheet will always be updated with the most recent, latest, and greatest classes, as well as the number of times that we have emailed it out to people. I'm just going to show you this right now so we don't have to switch back later, but notice that sometimes in this text column there is the WordPress Gutenberg block formatting, so this HTML tag and stuff like that. So we had to solve that and strip that out. So, all right, and that's it. So we've got an interface kind of with her website. We're using this spreadsheet, and we're using Klaviyo to send these emails. All right, so what's that look like? So basically we're running it on a schedule. We said every Monday we're going to go out and we're gonna send them this email. Monday morning, I think at like 5 o'clock, because again, sometimes yoga practitioners like to get up in the morning and start their day. So that way, unless they're waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, they will have the class waiting for them when they wake up bright and early on Monday morning. Step number 2 is we're just getting all of the spreadsheet rows. We can get up to 500, and for right now, I've just set it at 500 because, well, she only has 300, and that will last us some more times. Once we get to that 500 level, we will come up with another solution to make sure that we're counting for that. Here is the first bit, which is choose the random number from our Google Sheets. So here you can see our code, which was generated by AI and overviewed and tested by me. Basically, we are just first reading in all of the values from column F, which is the number of times that we have emailed this class out. The point being is that we're going to choose one at random. Now, I used to have an AI step handling all of this, but AI I told it to not go in order, but yet it was still going in order. So this is my workaround to make it truly random. But this way, we will not repeat a class until all of these have gone through one single time. We read in this value first, and then the first step is to, okay, analyze this list and choose the lowest value. Again, for the first 300 runs, these are only going to be ones and zeros until they are all ones. And then at that point, there will be a number 2, and the rest will be ones until they are all up to number 2. As you can see, this can run for a very long time. So anyways, it matches on the lowest number, which for now is 0. Then for every other 0 that's in that list, it's going to record its index value and store that in an array. And then once it gets all of those stored values, it's going to choose one at random. Now, I'm not going to walk you through all of this code, but here it is. So collect the positions here, and then down here, choose one at random. And we can see from the test output, nope, we can't because I'm not in the editor, but it did. And I did it multiple times, and every time it would choose a random number. And that random number is going to represent a row ID. But whatever, it chose like row number 286, and I went in here, I verified, yes, of course it was a 0, and once it got row 86, it returned all of these values, just as we want, because again, we're going to use that in an email very quickly. Here is where I did use AI, but it was not for choosing the random class. It was for cleaning up the HTML and Gutenberg markup. So here I'm saying it may contain HTML and or WordPress Gutenberg. You need to strip out that, but keep the paragraph structure, and that's important, as well as some of the formatting for the actual email itself. That's why we ran it through this AI step. And here is where we're now getting into the secret of Klaviyo. First, we need to in Klaviyo, create a custom web feed, which is tied to this right here. So here we gave it URL, and in Klaviyo we told it to look specifically at this feed URL here. This has been updated, so don't worry about that. Every week, it's going to shove this class into the feed URL. Klaviyo is going to recognize that new item in the feed. And I have this delay because Klaviyo refreshes its RSS feed at a maximum of every 15 minutes, so I just put in a little 5-minute buffer. From there, you have to first create the campaign as a draft, and this is all done through the Klaviyo API because there are no standard steps here in Zapier. So through the Klaviyo API, you create a campaign as a draft, which you see here. And then likewise, then you have to assign it a template. So just like in Klaviyo, we created the custom web feed. In Klaviyo, you also have to create a template and insert all of these dynamic fields to account for the title, the text, the image, etc. And so in this template, we are assigning it to this campaign that we just created. And then the third step in Klaviyo is to send the campaign. So just send it immediately. Then, okay, so for the users, that's done. They will receive this email as soon as possible. But we still have one more step of cleanup, which is now we need to increment that number of times emailed in the spreadsheet. So here we're just going to grab the original number from step number 4, and we're going to update it by 1. So that's all that's happening here, which is a math term. So add, it's not going to show up, but add 1 to that value, and then update the spreadsheet row, and that's it. So problem solved. Now, this single owner yoga teacher has been sitting on this resource of 300 classes, and she doesn't have time to do more email marketing than she's already done, and so now we are doing it automatically. Obviously, inside of this template, there is a little bit of more copy, there's more engagement with the users, and obviously we want them to click on that class, but it goes out to her whole list because it's not an extensive list of tens of thousands of people. So in this regard, statistically, it is, and using her current open and click rates, it is not hurting her reputation whatsoever to send to her entire list. And the results of that is that every single week we get 1 to 2 new subscribers just because we have sent out this email. And that's it. So with very little work, she now has an extra day so that her subscribers are engaging with her, she's staying in front of them, she's offering them something that they want, and she's also increasing her sales automatically every week just from this one simple zap.